I am here in Orlando with Jay Perry, one of the ICF founders. I confess I am thrilled to speak to one of the people who were part of the foundation movement. Could you please share with the ICF Brazilian members on the ICF its very beginning?
There's two things that I think are important about the beginning. Number one, the inspirational founder, a gentleman named Thomas Leonard, who was my first coach starting in about 1990, who really had a huge vision for what coaching could become. So the notion of having an international organization was beyond some of our vision. And the other thing I think that was important was these were just, people like you and me and the people who are watching who had this idea and who were together literally in the living room. And at the time we were not the only group organizing that. There was another group in California, and I think the third president of the ICF managed a merger of those groups. And it was then that it began to solidify. And the international part was slow to take over. Every step of the way, it was a learning process. Every time we would have a conference, to get together with a bunch of other coaches, in a way because it was the first time we actually knew that this was real. But it was still at a time when if you told someone you were a coach, they would say, what sport? It was hard to get the respect that this was actually a profession, something of value that people could pay for and you could see the results.
What's the soul of ICF?
It's the best of humanity. Because at the core, coaching is a loving, caring conversation with another human being where you want the best for them. And I think the other part is, to a certain extent, it's also a prison. Anytime you create something and then it becomes fixed. If you don't keep allowing it to flow. Coaching is an improvisation. We're working what's true in the moment. And also we wanted a structure to support things. That the structure is the soul.
How do you see ICF today?
I'm hopeful that within this there are people who are willing to continue to push back, to ask questions, to challenge. And as we created the profession, we also created a bunch of things that went with it. All the coach training, qualifications, distinctions like executive coaching or supervision or those kinds of things that to a certain degree, we run the danger of having coaching, number one, become overcomplicated, overly expensive, only available to an elite on the planet. The people who need the coaching is much more widespread.
Jay, how do you see the future of ICF?
It revives itself as a very democratic organization. That it is really the people in it and their voices that are important. But as long as the people continue to communicate what's important to them, how they want the ICF to represent them, then I think that the need for coaching is not going away. The need for loving conversations, the need for people who have great and generous listening to hear the souls, the hopes, the challenges of people. The promise of the coaching relationship, which I think is very important. Fundamentally, coaching is an exploration or an experiment in how we can have an ideal relationship. If you and I can figure out how to have this ideal relationship, then we can take it out into the world. So I think all of those things are not going to go out of style.
You can send a message to our Brazilian members.
Thank you so much for being willing to take the steps that you're taking in this profession, to be the champions that you can be for the people you work with, for the people on the planet, for the people in Brazil. And please remember that This profession is not a service profession. This profession is a modeling profession. Your first job is to be the person that you want to be, to have a great life yourself, to be the model for the people you work with. So it's a great challenge. We don't just get to talk the talk, we need to walk the talk or dance the talk. But in that journey is such joy, such challenge, and such reward that I welcome you and encourage you to keep dancing.
So Jay, thank you very much for talking to me, talking to Brazilian members of ICF, talking from your heart, and for sharing with us the soul of ICF. That's it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.